can go ahead and edit that out later if I want. So, hey, everybody, if you want to put in where you're from, I'd like to know, like, where you live. I live in Caldwell, Idaho. It's a town of about 50,000. It's just to the west of Boise, Idaho, which is the capital of Idaho. And I was just looking up tickets for Boise State versus Wyoming this weekend. Born in Colorado. I love Colorado. Beautiful state. I have lots of family members in the Denver, Longmont, and Fort Collins area, cousins and an uncle. And I've got family in the Seattle area too, and then family here in Idaho. So I think, well, Mariana disappeared, but hey, I'm really excited to have Mariana with Blogaid with me tonight because I've been following her on her blog, blogaid.com, for a while, and she knows a lot about WordPress. I don't consider myself a WordPress expert. What I consider myself is deadly and knowing enough about WordPress, I guess, to be deadly. That's what I meant to say. So we've got Atlanta, Georgia, and we've got Raleigh, North Carolina, Pennsylvania. I have a friend here from Washington, PA. Where else? We're just getting people joining us here. I saw that there were, something like 37 that were confirmed, and that for some reason had me scared. I'm using a MacBook, and okay, no wonder. I thought I had quit my email because I usually close stuff out before I start so I don't have distractions, and I silence my cell phone and all of that. Vancouver, BC. Wow. I love Vancouver. I used to live in Seattle, and when I was younger, we would go up to the nightclubs and hang out on Robson Street. I think the hotel was something Blue Horizon or something like that. And I love Stanley Park. I guess, like, for trivia, I think that if I'm right, Stanley Park is the second largest public city park in North America, is what I remember. Only New York City's Central Park is larger. We've got a lot of parks here, too, along the Boise River. We'll get started here shortly. I don't even know what time. 6:35. So this is actually the time that I had for starting. But we're going to talk about marketing with WordPress tonight. I've got an agenda that I put together. Once Mariana joins me, I'm going to lock the seats for a while so that we can chat and give you some good information, and then we'll open it up and people can jump in and ask questions. But I put together an agenda of things like marketing-related themes. Some of these you might already know. Plugins, email, marketing, tools, resources. We're going to talk about plugins, maybe some tips. I've got some free courses to give away. Talk about some hosting. If you don't have a WordPress website, I've been using WordPress for several years now. If you're using WordPress right now, actually what we call the self-hosted WordPress, so that would be wordpress.org rather than wordpress.com. Why don't you go ahead and type in the blog or your web address that you're using WordPress. You can go ahead and put that there in the comments area of Blab. So maybe we can take a look at some of those later. Maybe if you have some questions or something like that for you, we can offer some tips. I've got water here ready to go. I've got my Orange Crush. And if you're an REM fan like me, you'll know that that's the name of one of their songs. Just random trivia. It is the evening, so hey, we're going to be casual. Matt and I usually have beer when we're blabbing and talking about Udemy, but Matt is in Italy right now, and I think he returns next week. And once I'm recovered from my surgery, then Matt and I are going to be doing our show again, probably on Tuesday evenings. We like that format. We were doing Thursdays. I don't know, maybe we'll do Thursdays, but we found that evenings work well with that. And then I'm going to be doing a new a Blab talk show called Late Night with You, Me, and Udemy. And that's just going to be myself, and then I'm going to be inviting Udemy instructors to join me and just talk with them about their courses and the topics of their courses. So I guess I'll go ahead and start while we wait for Leanna to come back. The way that I was going to do this is I was just going to talk about some things out there, some of the things that I use for marketing with WordPress. And I've got web addresses and stuff like that I was going to plug in. First of all, let me go ahead and give you this document. I've been working on a book, a WordPress resource book, for a while, and I've been collecting WordPress URLs or bookmarking WordPress websites now for a couple of years. And so I thought that I would give you this document here that has a lot of these different links that I'm going to be talking about tonight, but I'm going to paste those into the comments. For those of you that are on a mobile device, it might be a little more difficult to take a look while we're progressing, but I'll kind of try to talk about it so that you can visualize it. I hope that maybe that you're on a laptop like me, but I know that there's the application for the iPhone. I use an Android phone, so I'm not able to see what that looks like, but we'll be posting some of those in there. But that link that I just gave you has a lot of different cool links to different things like WordPress blogs so that you can get more familiar with WordPress, or if you're already using WordPress, you can see some of the power of WordPress. Aha!
Finally.
Are we there?
Finally.
Oh, let me, oh no, now I know that. So maybe it's not going through the headset. Let me change this here. Hold on just a second.
Yeah, you might want to make me a host if you're going to refresh your screen or something, because it will close your blab.
Can you go ahead and say hi so I can see if I can hear you in the headset?
Hi.
No, I think did I just,
Can anybody else
Can you hear me
me
now? No. Darn it. Oh.
Okay, so the audience is saying they're hearing both of us, so there must be something going on with your headset.
It is. Hold on. I've come prepared. I bought another set of headphones that plug in. So let me go ahead and do this. Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I think we're good.
Yeah, let me turn this volume down so I don't ruin my hearing. The rest of my body is falling apart, so I just might as well have my hearing, right?
You know what's odd? This headset that has a little earpiece with it, it works fine on GoToMeeting. It works fine on HOAs. It does not work fine on this. I have to hear through my speakers. I cannot hear a thing through the headphones. And I've been through every setting I can do. The other things I usually run on Firefox, and they run fine. I don't usually use Chrome, so I'm thinking it may be a Chrome thing.
I saw that in your videos, and it reminded me of when I worked in call centers, the headset that came out of the side. And my ears get warm when I wear these. So.
That's part of why I did this. The rest of it, of course, is just sheer vanity. So, for recording my Udemy courses and whatever, I've got my nice ATR 2100, and this is too muffled for that, for sure. But so I use that for it in my right, exactly. Your nice Eddie and the podcast and whatever. But for blabs, for HOAs, for any of that kind of stuff, this just works perfectly, so I'm fine with it. I agree. Hey, I was just telling everybody the format. I sent you over the agenda. Didn't get it. It's not that. It's an email thing on my end of it. Couldn't download. I don't care. It's fine. Like I told you, I'll take it on the fly. No problem.
Yeah. I know you're a pro, so I was going to talk about some theme sites and stuff like that where people can find some marketing themes and then get your input on that kind of stuff. Maybe some great places that I don't know. And then what I thought we would do is then open up the seat. Does that sound good?
Absolutely, 100%.
So go ahead and introduce yourself first, and then I'll introduce myself.
I'm Mayanna with Blogade. It's blogade.net, and I help non-geeks with WordPress, SEO, conversion, marketing, performance, security, everything that makes for a successful site.
Awesome. And I look like I'm slouching here in my seat, and I'm not. And I've been to your website before, and I'm excited to like be able to have you on this blab because I love your website. I think you've got a really great looking site. Your videos are awesome. I watched the one on the Simple Live Press, and it's amazing how quick you turn stuff out. So I'm happy to have you with me today.
Yeah,
So,
that one was a 3 a.m. thing, honestly, because Blab is rolling out stuff so fast, and I think I've gotten out 2 more videos since then, and I've got 2 more to produce after we finish tonight. And so it's you have to be quick on that turnaround. I've been making them for years, and I can script and get the thing going out and whatever in less than an hour if I need to.
yeah, awesome. Well, hey, everybody. My name is Dennis, and I know that some of you already know me from the Udemy Blabs that I've been doing with Matt, and I want to welcome you and thank you for joining us tonight. I've been on Udemy for about over a year now, and I've been using WordPress for, I couldn't remember. I've been to a couple of the WordCamps in Seattle, and I was doing a WordPress meetup here in Boise for a while, but it's a smaller area and we had maybe 10 people or whatever. And so I just kind of said, I'll just go on to something different and do my own thing. So that's where I'm at with WordPress, and I use it for all of my websites. I do internet marketing, so I love WordPress. And that's kind of why I wanted to talk about not only marketing Udemy courses, but marketing Kindle books and all kinds of stuff, actually, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the thing about it is marketing is marketing. So a lot of it is going to cross a lot of borders. I told everybody to come in on that very purpose. Doesn't matter if they don't have Udemy courses. Doesn't matter if they don't have Kindle books. Marketing is marketing, and this is going to be a good show no matter what.
Yeah, I'm kind of nervous for some reason. I don't know. I told you I am prepared, but I've had like one of those crazy weeks, and I've had doctor's appointments, I've had lab work, I've had dental appointments, and next week I'm going to be out after surgery. And so I've just been my mind's focused on this because I'm always like wanting to produce the best and give people good information because I'm a believer in the law of reciprocity. So I like to give good information and like to give people stuff, because I think that when you give, it all comes back. And so that's just one of the things that I believe in. And I think that you're actually an individual like that too with, the
Absolutely.
stuff that you do with your website. So yeah. Oh, you know what? Just some reminders, just some housework, or is that what I want to say? Props and all of that. Anytime that you hear something that you resonates with you, or that you learn something, go ahead and give props, high five, whatever. Let people know on Twitter that button that says "Tell a Little Bird." It's changed a little bit now that the format is a dark background, but I can tell you that you can actually do a light background by just putting in / the word light, LIGHT, and it will change that background to a lighter background if it's easier for you to see. But if you could tweet that out, that would be great. You can connect with others, including Mayanna and myself. You can follow us on Blab. I'm sure that she's got a lot of followers wherever she goes. And you can follow people on Twitter too, others who are joining us. We've got about 16 in here, which is always exciting for, it's not late, but it is evening for a lot of people, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So, I was going to I've got this list, and so I guess since you didn't get it, the first one that I was going to talk about is themes, because I mean, I guess we could talk about hosting and stuff like that too. Maybe we should start off with hosting because that's
Wherever you want to start, I'm good.
Yeah, that's the first thing that you have to have. I mean, it doesn't matter really, like, I guess it does matter where you get hosting from. Who do you use for hosting your sites?
It doesn't matter. Why are you kidding me? It
It
matters.
does.
Yeah, it's extreme where you get hosting from matters. I don't
I
do. If
know.
y'all are looking for me to name names, it's not going to happen. I've got a post about why I no longer publicly endorse any host. It's because it's way too volatile now.
Hmm.
I had a few of them that I liked, and one in particular that I liked very much. I was almost synonymous with them, and things went sour with that host for a while, as it does with many hosts. For a while, they
Yeah.
have a rough patch. They mean to do well otherwise. But, I was taking the hit on that in my reputation because I want to give folks things, and I couldn't do anything about it. It's not under my control, but
Hmm.
people were associating that with me, and I couldn't stand it. And the
Yeah.
host was giving some runaround about it.
Hmm.
I couldn't stand that either because I'm all about integrity. So,
Yeah.
and if you don't trust me yet, trust me in saying this, that I
Hmm.
put my integrity and that trust factor way above money because it'll kill all the money I'm going to make. That was a 5-figure a year decision that I made
Oh
to not
no.
endorse and not do affiliate stuff. So I put my money where my mouth was, and
Yeah.
it's all about that integrity and transparency. So that said, don't ask me for names. I'm not going to give them to you.
It's probably the
Not
one that
publicly.
I'm using. Yeah, it's probably the one that I'm using, maybe just possibly.
Well,
But
I've got a lot of clients on a lot of different hosts now for a lot of different reasons.
yeah.
Here's what I will say about hosting. If you're paying, $3 to $7 for hosting, you're in the ghetto. And I'm talking about third world country ghetto. Okay. I'm talking about shanties with tin laid over the top of it. The whole thing's going to catch on fire soon. Ghetto.
Yeah.
All right.
Hmm.
So the days of being able to get by with cheap hosting and actually have anything that's in the least bit secure that has any speed is over. Also, they've lowered the resource ceilings because of all the bot attacks and the people who don't protect their sites with security. They're getting chewed to death with bots. And so all the hosts, especially on shared, have lowered their ceilings. And so you're going to get popped with overages. You need to go check to see if your site has been limited for overages. Put it on something like Uptime Robot.
Hmm.
Even the free version will ping your site every 5 minutes. Don't do the pingdom one. It's highly inaccurate. Go get Uptime Robot. There's another one, Monitor.us, mostly accurate.
Hmm.
But the Uptime Robot's free. It's the best one I've found. So
Yeah.
that or the Monitor.us. Make sure that your site is not being limited. You may not even know you're having a problem. Another
That,
thing
that,
that you can do, I'm sorry, Dennis, I don't mean to hog it, but you got me started. Another thing that you
no.
need to do is test your hosting speed. See how fast your site is coming up.
Hmm.
There are two or three, and I won't go into detail, but there are 2 or 3 really simple tests that you can run to see the response time of your host. Sometimes they're up to 2 seconds before the host even says, "Yeah, I'll go get your stuff." You're waiting 2 seconds on the host to even say, "Yeah, I'll go get it," and then after that, you're waiting on your actual page load. Another thing you don't want to do is put multiple sites inside one root account. Days of doing that are over for security, for performance. Don't need to do it. So that's what I've got to say about hosting.
You know what? That's actually great information, and I'm glad that you're here because uh, I would have never known that. Because, like I was telling people earlier, I don't consider myself a WordPress expert. I know enough stuff with WordPress to be deadly, but there are certain things like that about hosting that I would have never known. And it's a good point because if you're really serious about your business, you don't
Yeah,
want to run it on some like 395 plan or whatever.
right.
You want to make sure that you're going to have it backed up, that somebody maybe is going to be restoring it for you, doing maintenance and stuff like that, making sure that the plugins are up to date because there are people out there who are doing bad things and you don't want
Every
you
minute
to.
of every day, Dennis. Every minute.
Exactly. Yeah, I see it myself. I had one of my websites, and something that I need to do is also security, like the SSL certificates and stuff like that. Because if you're doing business, you
It
want to
doesn't
make
make your site, the one thing I want to say about that, it does not make your site safer.
Well,
Nothing about SSL makes your site more secure. What it does is
yeah.
encrypt the data that's going back and forth. So if you have an outside shopping cart, you don't need it. If you're taking like Stripe, if you have something like
Hmm.
that, then you're taking the payment. They're entering the information on your site, not on a gateway that looks like your site, not off your site, but on your site. And you need to get a real SSL certificate. There are junk ones that you can get through your host. Yeah, you wait till you get sued and you find out how much that free SSL certificate is worth. The whole point of those is to ensure your clients that are giving you their information that it truly is secure and
Hmm.
encrypted. You want to see that green bar, and that's not a cheap SSL, and you have to be vetted for that. It's not like
Yeah.
you just get one. You have to be vetted. But the other thing is the liability. If you do get sued, they're standing behind you saying we're the ones who protected it. So it's for you too.
Yeah, so when you talk about like outside shopping cart, something like if you're sending them to PayPal, right? Where
Right,
they're doing the security? Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Cart
Good.
66, that's another one. All these that are off of your site, let them handle it. That's
Hmm.
what it's for. Let them do it.
Yeah, good. Good. I think that that's some good information that to think about that stuff and go over to her website because I'm sure that she's got more information so that you can be more familiar about like what it involves with making sure that your site is secure. Because like she's saying is that there are people out there every minute of the day that want to do harm to all of these different websites. And if you're running your business and it goes down, that's money that you're losing that's going out the door. So let's go ahead and talk about. So you have the hosting, and I was going to talk about some themes and stuff like that, some of the places that I like to go to look for themes. The first place I go, and maybe again we can talk about security, but WordPress.org, I'm pretty sure that they check all of the themes that are approved for display on their site. Is that correct?
They do when they're first uploaded, they have a cursory type of check on them to make sure they're not loaded with malware. But if one is
Hmm.
updated through there, it might be a while before they come back around and check it again.
And check it again. Yeah. So one of the ones that I've been using is themeforest.net. How do you typically like? What would you recommend some good places
I
for
would
people to
run
find some?
away as fast as I could go from Theme Forest.
Really? Why is that?
A lot of their stuff has it's junk coded.
Hmm.
I've heard so many bad stories. Now unfortunately there are some really good developers on there, but they're getting known for having junky stuff, malware stuff. Theme Forest is having to crack down on it. It's so bad because they're losing their reputation, and people like me are saying run, and
Hmm.
they're really taking a pop for it. Most of the people that go there, the themes that I've seen for it, the coding is so all over the place. It's actually going to strike you in your performance. Plus, not all of them are HTML5 compatible. Even if they say they are, they don't have full schema markup, and that's a big thing now too.
Hmm. So, what would you recommend for those like who are looking for maybe a good marketing theme to market their courses or their books? Do you know of some good
I
resources?
don't think there's any such thing as a good marketing theme.
Hmm.
I think you can do it really comes down to what you're going. I don't mean to be disagreeing with everything you're saying, Dennis, but I have a whole different philosophy about it because my clients make money. They're serious about making money, and we don't fool with any of the freebie junky stuff because
Yeah.
it inhibits your ability to make money. So we go for the stuff that's you pay up front for all these business costs, and don't give me that I need to do everything for free until I figure out how to make money bull. I don't want to hear that. You
Hmm.
don't have a business mindset. You're not ready to be in business if you have that mindset. And you're talking about putting in for decent hosting, for a decent theme, for your domain, for protection on your domain, for a backup service. You're only looking at $200 or $300 here.
Hmm.
That's nothing. That's
That's not
peanuts.
bad.
So
Yeah.
hopefully you can make back $200 to $300. Come on.
Yeah.
If you can't, you need to figure out. You need to go get another job.
Hmm.
Honestly, you're not ready to be in business.
Yeah.
If you're just doing this as a hobby, you don't know what's going to happen with it, and whatever, get on WordPress.com and forget monetizing it. Have everything free, have everything taken care of, and be happy
Hmm.
until you do figure it out. I'm not a fool around kind of person, I guess you can tell. I work with serious clients, people who are ready to make money. Okay, so for themes, that's what we were talking about, right?
Yeah.
I'm an old coder from back in the days when you had to have a coder to have a site at all, right? I mean, like way back, like 18 years ago or something back.
Yeah.
And so I got out of that when Genesis came along because it is
Mhm.
the best coded thing I've ever seen. And that's coming from a coder who's really stupid picky about that. It's just stupid clean. So you get performance. As a matter of fact, I've got a case study where I was testing the performance on a site with WordPress. I just added Genesis and I got a huge performance boost because it cleans up the code so much.
Hmm.
And then you put a child theme on top of it. So Genesis is the framework. If you think of WordPress as a house with a frame, okay, and then themes sit right over the top of that. Genesis is like the garage edition. It's a bigger framework, and its themes sit over the top of all of that. So you can't just go get a child theme because part of it will collapse. It's got to have the framework under it. But it's also got schema markup. WordPress 3.8, I believe,
Hmm.
started supporting HTML5 compliance fully and schema markup. And Genesis was right behind them on it. They were the first ones, framework-wise, to jump on the HTML5. I had my theme converted the minute it became available, and I have reaped the SEO rewards of that ever since. And there are literally tens of thousands of new sites a year coming online that are HTML5 compatible, have schema markup, and they're just going to get ahead of everybody else. That's all there is to it. Google eats it like candy. So
Yeah.
whatever theme you get, do it that way. But as far as marketing goes, what I ask everybody is, what is your goal for your site? Not your business goal, the goal for your site. What are your conversion points? And then you go choose a structure based on that. Don't worry about the colors and stuff, guys. That's paint. That's cheap to get that redone. Look at the bare bones structure of it. Know what your content is, know what your conversion points are, and get a structure that highlights those things for you. Um, and so I do, a lot of the out of the box Studio Press themes and even their third party people who design for Genesis are very good. And then I've got designers that will customize it kind of. I like this part of that one and this part of that one and this part of that one, and they'll put it together into a sandwich for you.
Hmm.
And it doesn't cost that much, but it converts. That's the main thing. It
Yeah.
converts.
Yeah. And I
So
pasted a link to that too there. Studiopress.com. Is that correct?
yes,
Good.
that's their child themes. Genesis is the framework,
Hmm.
and Studio Press is the child themes, and they do feature third-party themes because there are a lot of designers now that make child themes for it, and some of them are just delicious. I mean, absolutely delicious. And I think I even started on my carving site. I think we started with the foodie theme, and which is a beautiful little theme. And if you look at that and look at my carving site, you would never know they were the same theme. And it's
Yeah.
paint. It's just paint.
Do
You
you want to
know?
explain to those who are with us? Because I'm sure that there's like many different levels of knowledge with WordPress, what a child theme is, because I have an
Uh-huh.
understanding of what it is, just like a brief explanation of that.
Yeah, like the framework I was saying about WordPress, it's a frame like a house. Think of it very much like a framework. And a theme is the facade over it. So if you go down, one of those neighborhoods where every fourth house is the same house, it just has a different front on it, right? But
That's
so it
where
has
we
a different
live.
facade. It's a slightly different color. Maybe the porch is designed a little different, something, but
Hmm.
it's a facade, and that's what themes are. And most themes, especially the free ones, are going to go right over WordPress. So every time WordPress updates, yeah, it could kill you. It could do something to your theme, especially now that they've been goofing around in the core so much too, and it can
Yeah.
goof your theme. Um,
Yeah.
Genesis is a framework that sits over WordPress. It expands it pretty radically. So you have layers. So you've got WordPress, then you've got Genesis, and then you have a child theme that sits over that. So WordPress and Genesis can update all day long, and your theme is never going to be touched. But WordPress and Genesis Update to bring in themes like schema. It won't flow all the way through your child theme either. Your child theme will need to be updated for some of those core changes, but it won't break.
Yeah.
Either. So, there's that.
Yeah. Hey, so we have a question here that says that they have a WordPress.com site, but they have also heard of WordPress.org. What's the difference? I mean, that's pretty... let's see if I get this right here. So WordPress.com is a free service. Anyone can set up a WordPress.com blog, but then you have some limitations on self-hosted WordPress, which is WordPress.org. You have your own domain like DennisJSmith.com or blogade.net, and you can use what are called plugins, and we're going to talk about some plugins to add customized features to your website, and you can't really do that, I think, with WordPress.com. Is that correct?
You can, but it's going to cost you. And isn't this weird? One of my clients pointed this out, and I just think this is so funny that it never hit me. The .org version is where you have to pay for all your own stuff, and the .com version is where you get it all free. I just think that's funny. But the WordPress.com is owned by the company that oversees WordPress. It's called Automatic, and it's you can get your site on there for free. But like Dennis said, there are severe limitations on the themes and plugins that you can use. You also cannot monetize there. I think some people are, but you're not supposed to. They could get you on the terms of service, but you can pay them a little more money to be able to get your own domain there. So it's not me.wordpress.com, it's whatever your real domain is. And you have to pay them a little more for that and to open up theme customization. And that's how they make their money. They're going to give you the baseline for free. And then you have to step up. That's not a bad way to do it when you're first starting out, just to get your feet, not to spend a lot of money, but also stay pretty safe because they're taking care of all the maintenance and the backup and all that kind of stuff for you. Yeah. So that's a pretty good way to do. It's costly to come out of that, though. The way they handle with their domain and that kind of thing and having to transfer it over and stuff, it can get just a little bit pricey to do that.
Yeah, but even if you did do the free WordPress, because I tell a lot of people that if you want to start a blog and you're not sure how dedicated you're going to be, that .com is a good way to go about that. And then if you do move over to self-hosted, and let's say that you don't have your own domain name with the WordPress.com, there's well, I don't know if necessarily easy, but you can export your blog posts and import them into your self-hosted, and I think that's fairly easy to do for most people. So yeah, that's a good thing to do. So I wanted your thoughts on the WooCommerce themes, or not WooCommerce, but Woo themes and WooCommerce.
Automatic bottom.
When?
Yes, they did. Automatic bottom. So WordPress owns Woo at this point. So that was 2 months ago, 3 months ago. It wasn't that long. It was this summer.
Wow.
That they purchased them. As far as I know, there aren't any changes to it. I love Woo. I love Woo, every kind of thing. And Dennis, I want to warn you, I see an egghead up there. If you have not, I think you've locked the seat already. You need to ban those people immediately. I was getting spammed to freaking death this afternoon. I did a blab on WordPress plugins, which is a very hot topic. And I spent a good chunk of the blab knocking these people out.
So it's with the blue circle and the egg in it?
The egg. Yeah, I just banned them. I started where the minute they popped in, I would ban them immediately because I don't want them putting comments in. And spammers, I saw it on another blab, 2 other blabs that I was in today. They weren't getting hit as hard as I was. But yeah.
Wow.
They were trying to come into the seats and trying to comment and stuff. It's not a lot of fun.
No.
So we were talking about
Woo.
Okay, yeah, Woo is a fantastic e-commerce solution. Now, for Kindle books and things like what you're talking about, it may be overkill. I mean, that's really a product store. And it's not the easiest thing in the world to set up. It's not hard, but for your first time in and only with 1 or 2 products, it is such incredible overkill. Easy Digital Downloads is way better for this. It's a lot easier to set up. It has a ton of tracking in it. The developer is stellar, and he does,
Mm-hmm.
stellar support too. So if it's like your Kindle book or something, a download that way, just one or two products, that's really the better way to go.
Yeah, I've heard of that one. I should have put that into, maybe I did, because I have like a list of stuff that I put out. And I think that was one of them that I had in there because I've not used that, but I've seen that before. So let's talk about like, I'm just going to put out some of these landing page plugins or options that are out there, and you tell me like if there's one of them that stands out for you. I've seen Optimize Press. I use Lead Pages, and people are talking about, I see already in the chat, Thrive Themes, which I've used another product of theirs.
Yes.
So what are your thoughts on those?
I'll take them in the order you gave them. Optimize Press has had a lot of problems lately, so they've just been glitchy more than anything. And I think the cost is a little high for all that glitchiness. And that's all I can say about them. Otherwise it works. It's a good thing. It's just kind of glitchy lately. And I've talked two of my clients into getting rid of it and going a different direction. Lead Pages is fantastic. They've got a lot of different built-in things on their site to help you get a good start as far as design. I mean, things that are tested, things that work for conversion, and they really give you a fantastic jump start on that. For some people, they may be a little pricey though, because I believe it's a monthly fee.
It is, yeah, correct.
And so for some folks, that could get just a little pricey. Thrive Themes has put out good work for quite some time, and now they have a plugin that rivals Lead Pages, except you buy it once and it resides on your site. With Lead Pages, you have to get a plugin to bring it in from Lead Pages, which can be a little bit of a performance hit, but it also takes care. I think you have to bring in your video if you're doing that from somewhere else too, and whatever. With Thrive, it's all on your theme. I'm really liking their stuff. I didn't get to check into the code of it yet, but I really like the developer a lot. And cool. He has a good track record of the things he's put out that are clean. And I don't have any clients on it just yet, but I did check it out even for myself, and I think that's a good way to go. So Thrive Themes are whole themes. This is a plugin. Neat. And I wish he'd called it a little something different, but yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I pasted thanks. That's great information, because I used their other product and I can't remember what it was called. It was for pop-ups and stuff like that. Not Pop-Up Dominator, but something different that they were doing before they started this Thrive Themes. And now you're talking about this plugin that sounds pretty awesome, because I've had some people tell me I should really look at that instead of Lead Pages, because you're right, you have to pay that subscription on there and it can add up. I just pasted something just so people could take a look at it from wpmudev.org, which is 10 beautiful WordPress landing pages and the plugins they were built with, so people could have a look at that too. And I have used some different different themes out there to build some of my landing pages, but I think that like Lead Pages and Thrive are a good way to go. And like you said, Optimize Press, maybe just kind of keep a lookout on that and see if they fix some of those issues.
There's two things about Optimize Press too. They have an Optimize Press theme, and then they have an Optimize Press plugin. Kind of like the Thrive Themes thing. They have themes, and then they have this plugin that does one thing, which is the Lead Pages. Optimize Press is the same way. They have whole themes, and then they have a plugin that does the exact same thing, and unfortunately, they're named the same thing. So it can be really confusing. I've seen some people even put the theme on and then put the plugin in it. It's like, whoa, you no.
Oh, wow.
No, because it's confusing. Give it a different name, guys. Come on. That's like in Georgia, in Atlanta. How many Peachtree streets do you have? God, come up with something else, would you?
It's all sagebrush here, so. Nothing. Our subdivision here, I was walking down there adding on, and there's some new street names, and I'm like, why did they name it that?
Yeah. Oh, come up, son. Did you just run out of creativity?
Yeah. Hey, so we've got 28 people who are viewing us live right now, and I just wanted to remind everyone that you can tell other people by clicking on that button that says "Tell a Little Bird" over there. You can connect with the individuals that are above there that are on the blab with us, including myself and Mayanna, and you can give her high fives and shout outs. That's called giving props. And if you have a question, you can do / the letter Q, a space, and then your question, and that'll flag it so that we know that you have a question. And I'll make sure that I'm watching that off to the side so that we can answer those as we go. And then, as we're done talking about some of this stuff, then we'll try, I guess, to do an open seat. But now I'm nervous about those eggs coming in here. We'll have to fry them.
Block the seat behind whoever comes in. What I ended up asking people to do today was put in the comments to request to come in to be seated, so that way I could vet them, and then open the seat, let them in, and lock it right behind them. So
that's a good idea. So yeah, if you're interested here in a bit in jumping in and talking with us here live, if you're not camera shy, then you can just do that /Q and a space and just let us know, and then we'll open that up in a bit. So I want to talk about, since we're talking about themes and we started talking about plugins, I kind of was listing some plugins and stuff like that I kind of had in mind for marketing stuff. The first thing that I wanted to mention, the one plugin, it's not necessarily, I guess it could be marketing related because it helps with your SEO. What are your thoughts on Yoast SEO?
Wipes the floor with everything else out there. Absolutely. Hands down. Love it. But here's the thing. Only if you properly configure it all. As a matter of fact, I did a post on the number one plugin that kills your site. And it's that one. Because what people do is they install it and they use that on-page analysis tool, and that's all. They don't configure all the rest of it. And even if you go to the Yoast site, he's not going to tell you how, because it's on a site-by-site basis, and there are choices. I've got that DIY SEO for WordPress course up on Udemy for that reason, and in that course, there are 13 videos on that plugin alone.
Are you able to pull that post up and share that with those who are joining us?
The number one, the one that will kill your site. Let me put that in here and see if I can find it.
Because I could probably use that myself too.
Yeah.
Because I know that having
the top
too many
misconfigured plugin that kills your site, and that would be it. That's the one.
Good.
So I see this in site audits day in and day out that people never configure the whole plugin, and there are choices to make.
So one of the things that you need to for marketing is an email list. I always tell people that the money is in the list, and so you're going to need a good form to capture that data. Now, there's a free one out there called Contact Form 7, but I use Gravity Forms. What are your thoughts on those?
I don't use a form to get an email list. I use the email service form. If you're using MailChimp or Aweber or whatever, they have their forms.
So you just copy the code?
I custom code them anyway. I customize them for all my peeps, but there are plenty of plugins that integrate those. I heard MailChimp was having a little trouble today with one site. I don't think that's widespread. I haven't heard it widespread. But some people use Gravity Forms for their email list, to fully customize it. It depends on what you're asking for and how much you want to style it. As far as just styling, I think the native ones, the code that comes from Aweber or MailChimp or whatever else you're using, Mad Mimi, they're all pretty easy to style. If anybody can style a form, it's pretty simple to do. It takes me about, 5 minutes maybe to style one up that looks customized, and also with your freebie and that kind of thing. And then some people go to Gravity Forms, but I find that just overkill. I can do all that on my own. What I need Gravity Forms for. It depends on how much information you're collecting. But just on my list, I want an email address and nothing else, maybe a name. And then I customize it to have my checkbox on there for people to be able to sign up for the RSS to email of my blog post while they're at it, so I don't have to ask them again. So they get all of it in one slew. And I don't think there's a plugin that does that. That's why I custom code them. Also, Lead Pages has a pop-up box that is sweet for that, and you can put it in a lot of different kinds of things. So that is one of the things that Lead Pages has.
Lead boxes, I believe, is what that feature is called with lead pages. It's, I need to use that more because I actually have somebody paying for a subscription for me that is a past client that she's back there on the East Coast, and she's just said, you use it, and I'm like, okay, thanks.
Well, this new Simple Live Press plugin, for the blast stuff to automate it, it has an integration with Lead Pages pop-up too, and it's just a thing of beauty. It works very easily and simply. There's opt-in skin, there's different types of plugins that will dress it up for you, make it look nice. Opt-in skin is a thing of beauty as far as the looks and whatever. It is a resource hog, though, so it will slow down your page loads.
Huh. I think Pat Flynn uses that one, if I remember, on his site. Yeah.
Yeah, so. Pat Flynn makes a lot of money from that, too.
Oh, tons of money.
Yeah. And from the host that he recommends, that's one of the bottom of my list. But
I know.
So, I love Pat, and don't get me wrong, man. I like Pat Flynn.
Yeah.
Pat Flynn about passive income, he's the dude. But he's not a tech, and a lot of people aren't techs, and they give out techie information that's really poor. And that hosting used to be pretty good back in the day. They were one of my preferred vendors back in the day. But he's not going to get up, what is it, $35,000 a month he makes from them?
It's crazy, isn't it?
Hey, I don't say anything to him, and here's why. He's building my site audit clientele for next year.
Nice.
So,
Yeah. I have a friend here in Boise who actually has been on his show being interviewed for an email marketing app that I'm going to mention towards the end because it's kind of interesting what he's doing. But so let's see. So we talked about Yoast, and that's a good choice for SEO. And did you paste in the link for your blog post on that?
I did the one that will kill your site. Okay. I got that on there. I don't think I pulled up the one, I'm positive I didn't, for my Udemy course. Can I do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't even think I have it in front of me here.
While you're doing that, it's
DIY SEO for WordPress. And I'll bring that up real quick. And that course, cool. I've also got this same course over on my membership site that's part of a bigger everything you want to know about WordPress basically is in there except for design. And because, oh, wow, really? No, let me take all that out. Hang on.
Okay.
It puts some kind of something affiliate, something or other kind of, I don't know what code on there. There you go.
I've got some. Okay, good. I'm just posting some articles that I found when I was doing my research on some different WordPress plugins for affiliate marketing, for successful internet marketing, for content marketing, and just so that people who are watching can take a look at those and read those. And some of the stuff that we've talked about already are mentioned. Some of those are mentioned in the articles. So you can take those and take a look at it. And then my last one here is 10 best affiliate marketing tools and plugins for WordPress. And there's one of them that I use that's on there, which is, it's one of them that makes, it's not Pretty Links, but it's one of the other ones.
Yeah, okay, there's Pretty Links and redirection.
Yeah, there was one more that I was using, and I can't. Thirsty Affiliates is what it's called.
Affiliates, yeah, they're really good. There's an extreme difference in all three of those too. Redirection.
You want to talk about that? Oh, I was going to say you cut out for a moment. I said, go ahead and talk about that.
Okay. Redirection is just that. It just does redirects. If you use that, you need to turn off the logs. It has the logs of each redirect plus 404 error logs. Turn them both off. Huge resource hog, or at least set them to wipe the logs every week. If you're going to check them weekly and then wipe them out. Get that out of your database. It'll kill it. Pretty Links and the Thirsty Affiliates, they're made for tracking. They're made for sales. You need to know the clicks. You need to know how many sales you had out of those clicks. All those logs are things that you need, and there is no way to wipe them out. Major resource hog. At the time. Only after time, because it's going to eat up your database after a while with all of that. Okay, it gets big. Those tables get huge, and there's more than one table. There's multiple tables per. So you have to have it though. That's the whole point in it, Dennis, to track, see your sales, see what's going on. The easy digital downloads, if you're selling something off your site, same thing. It's going to be more of a database hog.
Yeah.
But you got to have it. You've just got to, you know.
Yeah,
so Thirsty Affiliates has a, I'm sorry, I don't mean to keep interrupting you.
That's okay.
One of my clients has it, and there's some pro add-on for it, and I don't remember what it does. Do you know?
I was going to mention that was one of the things that I noticed that it had that you could buy, so it give you more features. I'm bringing up Thirsty Affiliates here. Oops, why did I click on the link that I didn't want? So, and just so people know what these do, just in case if you're not familiar, if you're doing affiliate marketing and you want to sell something, usually you're going to use a service maybe like linkshare.com, and it takes the link from, let's say, a Udemy link to a course and puts all of this jargon in there and changes the URL so it can be tracked. And that doesn't look good. And so a lot of people are leery on clicking something that's a long link with a bunch of numbers and letters. And these plugins like Thirsty Affiliates and Pretty Links takes it and makes it into a nice looking link so people will click on it and hopefully buy the product that you're promoting for a company like Udemy or Amazon or whatever. So go ahead.
Dennis, now I haven't checked into this in a while because I don't do much of it, but on Amazon, don't they have in their terms of service you cannot cloak?
So that's a good point, maybe, because I'm not too familiar. I was just thinking of them like that they do affiliate marketing, but I did not know that. So that would be something that somebody, if you're doing that with Amazon, that you might want to look into that, because yes, that's what you're doing essentially, is you're cloaking the URL so it looks good. And like she's saying, it sounds like Amazon might not allow that. So if you're doing Amazon, look into that and make sure that these services allow you to do such. So yeah, that's good advice. That's why I have you here.
Happy to be here. There's a lot to know. And if you're just starting out green, you pick up a tip here and a tip there and a tip there, and you kludge it all together, and you feel like you know what you're doing, but there's always something new to learn. And even in this, guys, we're just giving you bits and pieces of stuff. So don't think this one theme or this one plugin is the answer, because it's just one piece of a bigger puzzle, and it's got to work with your puzzle.
Yeah, huge puzzle, because there's so many things. WordPress has been around so long, and I think it's probably like 20% of the world's websites are on WordPress or more.
And I just taught in my blab earlier today, some guys came in that are on the WordPress VIP thing that are the enterprise level thing. It's even handling enterprise, and I'm talking about millions of hits a day.
Wow. Yeah, because big companies, like I've heard CNN uses it for their blog on their site. And you could go to WordPress.org and you can, matter of fact, that's like what I recommend is, if you're not familiar with WordPress, is you go to WordPress.org first, because that's where you'll get the information and you can see how others are using WordPress. You can see all of the plugins that are available. There's thousands of themes, because it's been around so long, over 10 years now. It's probably getting closer to 11 years now.
Yeah,
I think
it is.
They've been around. So yeah, I actually had, what was it? I think I had a Theme Forest t-shirt that I was wearing a couple of weeks ago on a blab, because I actually have lost enough weight to wear the thing. I was joking with a friend today on the phone. I said, maybe after this surgery, I'll be even thinner.
Well, surgery will do it to you for sure.
Because I won't want to eat. So the other thing now that I wanted to go into, I only have a couple of them that I wrote down because it's what I use, and I use MailChimp I know that a lot of people use it, but do you have any suggestions with some of the email applications that are out there like MailChimp? What are you using?
Yeah, a lot of folks use MailChimp. I'm on MailChimp right now too, and the reason they do is because it's free for the first 2,000 subscribers. And so that, that is, of course, the draw. And then once you get bigger where you can pay for it, you're already there and you don't want to flip everybody over. But they're kind of odd in the way their interfaces and things are not necessarily intuitive. They've gotten a whale of a lot better. As a matter of fact, I still have a course on MailChimp, but I'm taking it down because it's so old now. They finally got around to doing their own tutorials and things, and I was making a whale of a lot of business because they were kind of odd and they didn't have any tutorials. And so that was a great course. But and I have a MailChimp class course where they gave it to me for free just for testing and doing things on, so I don't have to do it on mine. They've been great to me for sure. But now they've done their own videos, and sure enough, right after they did a big update, I remade all my videos, and then they changed it 5 minutes later. So they're doing it quite a bit. They're doing a lot of interface updates. So it is kind of strange, but so many people use it. There's tons of tutorials on it. They have their own, tons of integrations, like these plugins that integrate on your WordPress site. I think the other really super popular one, of course, is Aweber. Now, it's going to be paid up front, but it is more intuitive. One of the real differences, and you're going to hear a lot of myth stories about this, that MailChimp, you can't do affiliate marketing on MailChimp. That's bullshit. You most certainly can. There's no problem with that. What you can't do is spam, and they will kick you out for that. So you have to be real careful not to be sleazy about it, but you can do affiliate marketing just fine on MailChimp.
And I do myself because I have permission, because those individuals have opted in and given me permission to send out, something like I've said weekly for the onebuckcourses.com, and it works really well. One of the sites that I started to mention earlier, I had emailed someone before we started tonight, and it's a product called convertkit.com. And his name is Nathan Barry, and he lives here in Boise. And when I was doing my WordPress meetups, he was one of the individuals who showed up, and he actually was building WordPress themes at the time. And I got him to speak and talk about how a theme is created and how it works and all of that. And then he kind of disappeared, and it was because he was off doing his own thing. And that's how I got the whole interview with Pat Flynn. And Pat has actually switched from MailChimp to ConvertKit now. And so I had messaged Nathan before we started because
there's probably some money in for him.
And I said, hey, can an affiliate marketer use your product? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, I'm probably switching, because the thing that I like about ConvertKit is it's really intuitive and easy to use for what they call drip marketing, which you really need when you're doing an email marketing campaign to kind of drip those emails out to your followers. Because otherwise, like somebody like me, I welcome somebody to my mailing list and I forget.
Yeah. MailChimp changed theirs to workflow or something, their autoresponder type things and whatever. And it's not exactly intuitive. I mean, you can figure it out, but they've always had trouble being intuitive. It's a good service, but they think a little different, with stuff. Once you figure it out, it's okay. Aweber is straight up. Now, here's the thing, guys. If you want to jump from Aweber, your paid service, to MailChimp, you can get around that because, you can do that because MailChimp, the way they do the Can Spam Act to make sure that you have permission for these people is if you check the box to say that. So you don't have to go through the double opt-in process. You could just import your list, export it from whatever you've got, import it into MailChimp. You check that box that they all gave you permission, and you're on the hook for following the federal Can Spam Act rules. Okay, if you go the other direction, if you want to step up and get out of MailChimp and go to Aweber, you're going to have a double opt-in. Aweber puts it on each person. So they're going to get an email saying, hey, somebody wants to switch you to a list. What I've heard from marketers is you're going to lose 90% of your list when that happens.
Yeah.
So,
Do you want to?
before you switch over to this other thing, ask about how he does that and make sure that there's not a double opt-in process because you will lose your list quick over
Okay.
that. I
Yeah.
have seen a lot of folks go from Aweber to Mad Mimi,
Mm-hmm.
and it's much cheaper. They have stellar support, but their interface is a little, their integration, not their interface, but their integration stuff is a little off some days. I've had a little more trouble getting it to integrate with things like pop-up boxes and things like that in their custom forms than I have with MailChimp or Aweber. So there's that. Pardon me, I've done 2 blabs,
Mm-hmm.
a podcast interview, another blab that I sat in on today, and then one other thing that I recorded for an hour.
You
And
need some
yeah, I
tea.
mean, yeah.
You
So
ever heard
sorry.
of throat coat, the tea?
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Yeah, I've used
But
that.
yeah, be sure you check before you switch to anybody that you don't lose your list that way. Do your homework.
Okay, good. I was going to ask you if you could explain double opt-in for those who aren't familiar with email.
In the US, it's part of the CAN Spam Act. Don't ask me what CAN stands for, but
Yeah.
it's an acronym. The whole CAN Spam is a whole acronym for something. But basically, it's to ensure that to stop all the spammers from just auto signing you up to things that you never gave permission to be in. And so double opt-in is, when you sign up for something, you'll very likely get an email saying, we want to ensure that we have the right email address. Can you please confirm? And that right there, they're saying it nicely, but it's basically the law that they have to do that to say opt-in. Now, MailChimp gets around that with some things. I've seen it with membership sites and whatever, that the minute they pay for a membership site and it integrates with MailChimp, like wishlist member, it'll run right in the double opt-in. It'll run end around it. They're automatically subscribed the minute they pay, but it's a pseudo permission base type thing, and you're still on the hook for it. If people complain that they didn't sign up, if there's enough complaints to your email service, they will shut you down without warning.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to make sure that that doesn't happen. So I just pulled up, I was curious what it stands for. And I don't know if this is true, but it says Controlling the Assault of Non-Solicited Pornography and Marketing Act of 2003.
There you go.
Which is weird because it's like it can spam. It sounds familiar. It's like, okay, if you can't spam, why are they calling it can spam? So,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's funny.
Strange things. So, you mentioned Mad Mimi, and the other one, I think, My Emma, which is owned by GoDaddy now, I believe?
I don't know. I haven't kept up with the Emma. They're just so small. I hear the people who use it like it. We've got some people here local to me that build some integrations for it, which kind of tells me what I need to know is if third parties are having to build integration things for it, there's a problem with it. I'm not sure. I can't really say. I don't have anybody on it. I don't have firsthand experience with it, and I don't care for hearsay that much. And that's as much as I can say about it. Constant Contact is another one.
Yeah,
that a lot of people used to use, but I think it's fallen out of favor. There's a brand new one. Zippy, no, that's a membership. There's a brand new one out there, and I can't remember it off the top of my head that is really getting some good buzz. I just can't remember what it is off the top, right this second.
Yeah, I saw like an email earlier today from somebody wanting me to switch to something, and then got solicited from somebody else for some new email service that they would contact me on Skype if I wanted to try it out, like, a beta or whatever. And I was just like, I've got too much stuff going on in my life right now.
And some of these things, with your email list, that is your money, pardon me, and I'm not going to trust a startup with that.
Yeah. So we've got a question here from Sylvia, and it says that I've been searching for a plugin to export all of my contacts from Ning to WordPress. The only plugin that I've found is Import Ning, but it's outdated. Any suggestions?
From what to WordPress?
Ning, Ning. I think I've heard of that before.
I haven't heard that in years. Yeah, no, I don't have anything off the top of my head. I hadn't heard. Geez, it's been 8 years since I've heard or at least 5 since I've heard the name Ning. I didn't even know they were still around. So, yeah, I'm sorry, I don't.
What is that?
It was a platform
Oh
back
yeah, here
when, and
community.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
more. I think it was kind of a group, sort of bunches of folks, if I remember
Hmm.
right. Kind of like almost kind of like a Tumblr sort of thing. I'm probably killing it here as far as what it really. Yeah, kind of like a member sort of
Hmm.
type thing. So it's been a
So
long time.
yeah, so I typed in Ning to WordPress migration in Google, and Sylvia, you might want to do that. Maybe that'll give you some information on that. The first thing that comes up is hire WordPress experts from Fiverr, but the next one is Ning to BuddyPress, which WPMUdev.org has an article on. So maybe search through some of that. There is a plugin listed on the WordPress.org site. That might be the one that you're talking about, maybe not. So maybe do a search on Google and see what that comes up with. Let's see.
And I would say about that, no matter if you do hire somebody, ask them to show you a site where they did it,
Mm,
give you the links, and give so that you can contact that site owner. You don't have to ask them for the contact information. That new site should have a contact form on it, and you can independently ask them about this company.
yeah, good idea. Good
Because
information.
boy, there's a lot of folks will say, "Yeah, I've done that. I can help you." That they don't know how to do it.
Yeah. Boy, we still have
Although,
22 people viewing us live. I mean,
cool.
I've been on different blobs and stuff. The one that Matt and I did, we had 50, I think, at one point. We've had 213 through at one point. So I want to thank everybody for taking time to join me, Anna and I tonight. Um, I was going to say, if you would like to let people know we're still talking, because we're going to ask you if you have questions. And also, I was going to ask you to type in the comments if you're using MailChimp or Aweber or something else. Let us know what you're using for your preferred email marketing tool. But you can tell a little bird and let people know that you can tweet and let people know that we're blabbing tonight. You can connect with myself or Mariana above by clicking or hovering over us and then following us on Blab, on Twitter, following other individuals there. I'm hovering over the top. I see like Christy Lambert, who's always with us. Why aren't you doing your fun images tonight? Maybe she's just listening somewhere, or I put her to sleep. Man, she's got a lot of followers. She's got 1,039 followers on Blab, and I've got a couple of hundred. I need to do some work there. And let's see. Oh boy, I'm just like moving. You got Ken following us. Thanks, Ken, for joining us tonight. And
Was that Ken Turner?
I think Ken
That's
Evans.
one of my
Yeah,
peeps. Yeah, Ken's a good
yeah,
guy.
yeah. And we've got Katrina, and I'm hovering over another one. We have Cherie. I'm probably going to botch names. Robert's really easy. Thanks, Robert, for joining us. Sylvia. Oh, so those are quite a few. If you have a question, / the letter Q, a space, and then your question. Or if you want to join us in an open seat and you want to jump in and ask us a question, you can certainly do that. If you have a WordPress website and maybe you have a question about your website and you'd like us to look at it, you can post that in the comments there. Testing, send in blue. Have you testing send in blue? Have you had do you know what send in blue is?
No, Ken, you're going to have to give us some more information on that, please.
Blue is my favorite color. I'm typing, send in blue, online email marketing and SMS marketing. So there's another company here. Easily manage your email marketing campaigns, transactional emails, and SMS messages all in one simple and powerful platform.
Oh, that's kind of cool. That sounds like a pretty good integration if you're taking stuff from everywhere.
Mm-hmm. 60,000 emails a month for $39. That seems pretty affordable, does it?
Especially if all that SMS and everything tracking is in there, because I don't know about y'all, but if I, I don't give people my clients or anybody my cell phone number. I have an office line, and
Hmm.
it's a landline because I don't want to be texted all day. And for the most part, I do as much online as I can because, guys, if I'm sitting there answering the phone, I can't get anything done.
Yeah.
Honestly, I have to put it on my schedule. But a lot of people contact me on a social media platform where they're used to seeing me too, and I lose track of those fast.
Yeah.
So I strongly prefer email, but that sounds like a good system for trying to keep up with all of that.
I'm
Could be all
bad
over the
at.
place otherwise.
I am. I'm bad with that kind of stuff. If I don't put something in a calendar right away, I forget. And I did that the other day. Somebody wanted to talk to me about one of my websites, and they said, "How about 4 o'clock today?" And then I got a message today, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" I'm like,
And get in the
"So
calendar.
sorry."
Yeah,
Yeah,
big
it's got to
time.
go into a calendar. What do you use to like for productivity? Do you use any tools?
Well, I moved my whole office, my whole back office over to Google Apps about a
Mm,
year and a half ago, and I am just loving it and all the integrations. So, especially things that integrate like my scheduler, my online scheduler. So that cut my emails down to one third of what they were because we're not going back and forth. I've got a global clientele list, Australia
hmm.
and the Netherlands and the UK and what and we're not figuring out time zones and all that goofiness because it shows in their time zone. They see when I'm free, but I have to get things on the calendar for that reason to say
Yeah.
I'm busy, I'm not available during this time. So,
Hmm.
pardon me. So that was probably the lifesaver for me. I had a VA right up until I integrated that,
Yeah.
just to cut down on that sort of thing. So that's my tool. But do we have anything else with marketing here to get back on topic?
No, actually, that's why I was like going off on
Oh, okay.
some of that
Yeah.
other stuff. Oh, here, let me. I want to my marketing your business with WordPress course. It's free for those who are with us tonight. So I just want to paste that in there. It was my first Udemy course, so it's not going to be the best looking course. I was going to ask you, you haven't been on Udemy that like you just recently started, right?
The Blab course, the Blab Like a Pro course. I just put that up. The DIY, the SEO course has been up there for a little while. I think it went up in late August. And yeah, but I mean,
Hmm.
I've got courses out the wazooby. I've got a WordPress, a webmaster training for designers, VAs, anybody that caretakes site that never learned about security and performance. There's 76 videos
Hmm.
in that may or may not go up on Udemy. And so I do
Wow.
webinars on it. Udemy kind of limits me a little bit in how much I can send. Like this Blab thing, I need to be sending things almost daily saying there's an update because people are going on and doing Blabs and getting caught off guard. And I found out I can only send
Hmm.
those four announcements a month. Well, that's not nearly enough for something that's changing like this. For the DIY course, I mean, for the SEO course, it is, but not for anything like this. So I'm going to
Yeah.
have to do something to help reach out to those people because I can't even tell them about all the stuff that I've put in their course
Hmm.
or the new updates and guides. Don't get caught off guard. You need to know this before you do your
Yeah.
next blab kind of a thing. I was going to put up one, oh, AMP. So if you've gone through everything on your list, I've got a
Hmm.
couple of
Go ahead.
new ones that you need to check out. Google just rolled out AMP, accelerated something pages. It's in answer to, sorry, my voice is going. It's in answer to Facebook's instant articles and whatever Apple has. So what it is a stripped down version of your site. We're going to go back to the old days. This is like stepping back to 1995 with this thing, and it's going to strip out everything but the content, any distractions, all ads, all blinking anything, all that stuff.
Mm.
And so it's instant load because your pages, your AMP pages, are going to be cached in Google service. So, I mean, it's lightning fast. And it's
Yeah.
eliminating all distractions, no sidebar, no footer, none of that stuff. It's going to change the way we
Hmm.
market radically. Now, it's going to have no JavaScript, which if you've got ads or anything, that's how they're running on your site, right? And so they're going to be in iframe codes. So this is going to go one or two ways. I just put a link in there to the post that I wrote about it. There's very little information about it. There may have been over the past few days since I wrote that post, but I haven't really been seeing a whole lot else about it. If They really do strip everything out. You'll have to have a parallel version, kind of like we did with the M dot, for the mobile version.
Yeah.
Hoo-ha. Um, this will be a parallel site to yours, and it's it's going to make people radically intolerant of all the distractions that we put on our site. It's going to make them radically intolerant of slow page loads. So either that's going to happen or they're going to miss the interactivity, because this next boost with WordPress, the very next release is going to have some stuff in the core. It's going to put the REST API in there. You don't need to know all this tech talk and geek speak, guys. Just know that our sites are about to become radically interactive. And they're going to do it in 2 steps. The next release of 4.4 that comes out in December, and then the release after that, which will probably be in April, 4.5. And the developers have already been talking about this for 2 years, all the stuff they want to throw in it. So we're going to get suddenly this huge gain in interactivity on one end, and then AMP's going to strip it all out on the other. So we'll see how this goes. Google's not making this a ranking factor whether you have AMP or not, but that's going to come just like they did with the HTTPS stuff. They're going to give a little boost for that kind of thing. I bet it does come, but it's probably going to make people intolerant of ads. So you're going to have to really think about your conversion, and it's going to have to be in your content, your conversion points, like sign up for this or get that. It's going to have to be inside your content, or you're going to have to do this iframe, no JavaScript, hoo-ha, that's going to be stupid plain Jane to get it to run an ad or something. It's going to change conversion.
So wouldn't a plugin be able to do that if somebody came to the site and it knew that it was a mobile
WordPress
device?
Is one of their partners. Google decided, they got in with Pinterest. They got in with that. And, they're not going to cut their throats with Google AdWords. Come on. And so, they're already working with ad stuff. YouTube is the only, it's a different set of codes. And YouTube is the only one that natively embeds with it. It's all their own stuff. They're calling it open source, unlike Facebook that only launches in Facebook. They're calling this open source because you can open it anywhere. Yeah, open source my butt. It's only their partners in it so far. I'm sure that was all their strategic stuff about Twitter and Pinterest and whatever is coming into play for this. It'll adapt and change and be added to and whatever as we go. But it's brand new. I don't expect it to catch on really before the end of the year. I think we're going to hear a lot more about this come January, around that time frame. But you need to know it's coming.
Good. Well, we have your link to your article too.
Yeah, you need to know it's coming because it's going to radically impact conversion. And if you don't have a fast site, you're going to get left in the dust when people get intolerant of it everywhere, even on desktop, even if they're not on mobile.
It's so weird, though, to think about that, because I remember like the, what BOD were the rates for the modems years ago when it was just text and stuff like that. And I have, for my internet speed, 100 megabytes per second on the download and 3 on the upload. And if you look at some of the countries around the world, they're even much faster than US. So I just don't get why, like, all of that stuff with technology and stuff, that it can't keep up with the stuff.
Well, in the US,
that we're downloading.
Yeah,
viewing.
But something like the UK, it's like rewiring California only. It's a lot easier to change it. Japan, same thing. I mean, they're always 5 years ahead of us because they can. You just put a cell tower up on Mount Kilimanjaro, one on each side, and Japan's covered. I mean. Okay, guys, I know I'm making light of it, but you're talking about rewiring the state of California for all these other countries.
Well,
it's
I
only
think
that big, so it's a lot easier for them to change.
Well, we have so many different companies like T-Mobile and AT&T and Verizon, and they are all working on different technologies. Europe was on GSM technology years ago, and I used to work for VoiceStream, which became T-Mobile. That was the first U.S. cell carrier that used GSM for technology. So their infrastructure, when there's a change in technology to a faster speed, it takes much longer in the US to build that stuff out, where in Japan or something like that, yeah, it's a smaller footprint or whatever, but it just seems like in those countries that they're able to build that stuff out faster because there's the competition, and that's probably maybe a little bit with the capitalism and stuff like that and competition, that it takes longer here in the US for that stuff to come around. Well, you've got more companies
building it, doing the innovation in the first place. And you've got to have free commerce for that. Whereas in maybe these other countries, there's one major company that's backed by the government that's doing it, and it's kind of just all taken care of right there in-house. So, yeah. But the AMP thing is, I feel like it's stepping us back. I feel like I do about a lot of Google things, that it's a toy. They treat too much business stuff like toys, not like a business person. And guys, I don't have time to play games and invest money in getting another site and blah, blah, blah. You know, they did that with HOAs, and I wasn't I got off that, and I'm thrilled with Blab because it's going to stay stupid simple. But they treat too many things like a toy. And I heard, I remember Mark Timberlake was saying that in his Udemy HOA the other day, I think it was Sunday, and saying that I wouldn't put stuff up on Google, for teaching and whatever. I wouldn't do that platform because they don't treat it like business stuff. It may disappear anytime. And so this AMP thing may be the push like they did with the SSL stuff, where they try to push it down everybody's throat, and they got a lot of pushback. So, or maybe like authorship, that may be coming back. They said, don't remove it. I never removed it. And I've been telling people all along, Google still needs to credit who writes what. So, it just may be another thing they're playing with. And like authorship, there'll be some really huge brownie points for adopting it, just to try to get people to adopt it. And then they'll threaten us with ranking factor that they'll give anybody who's doing it a perk, and then it'll just disappear.
Yeah. Hey, we've got, let's see, we've got some questions here. I saw one from Cherie. Let's see. So she said, good information, but don't some of those plugins slow down your sites? Yeah, I think that they do. There's some that are not written well, and they slow your site down. And too many, I think, slows your sites down too, right? Yeah, definitely. I mean, what do you think? Like, how many is too many plugins?
No such thing. No, there is no magic number with that kind of stuff. Get only as many as you need, and don't do plugins for things that you just don't know how to use WordPress, your education level, that you don't have the education level to do it manually, or just to make life easy because there's too many complex. Say like the WordPress SEO plugin. It's a very powerful plugin. Yeah. You can do your open graph tags. You can do your Twitter card. Well, if you put in social warfare, which is a premium plugin for share buttons, it's also going to take over your open graph tags. Then there's the Facebook open graph plugin. You need to be really careful. Too many Pinterest plugins. You have them in your share button. You have the Pinterest pin. Then you have another. You need to be really careful about all those conflicts. Make sure that you know what every single plugin does, and that you know where it's used. So when there's an update, you can go to that page and see where it's used. So.
Yeah, you mentioned that in your Simple Light Press video, because there's that option there for the Facebook Open Graph. And what is it? I think that you suggest that if people are using Yoast SEO, that they disable that in the Simple Light Press plugin. Is that correct?
You must do it in the Simple Light Press. Let Yoast take care of it. Or if you're using social warfare or another one, you really need those to do your open graph.
Yeah, true. Ken had a question here.
That's not just open graph stuff. That can goof your SEO really bad. As a matter of fact, I'm working with two developers of two major plugins right now because they're having a major conflict. Neither one of them knows about it. I found it, and it is killing my SEO. And so expect a warning in the Yoast SEO plugin for that, but we're working behind channels to clear it up before it comes out publicly. So I'm holding off on that post right now to give them a chance. But if I don't hear from them in a little while, You had your chance, guys. Trying to work
It's
with
gonna
you
hit the
behind the
fan.
scenes, give you a chance to clear this up.
Yeah, that's nice that you do that. I think that that's a
Yeah.
good way to work. So Ken is asking, any indications on how difficult or easy it will be to convert a site to AMP standards?
There's a plugin already. WordPress immediately came out with a plugin. You can do it today. And it's just know that it's not it's a parallel thing. And last I saw, the two sites that had it up immediately were both broken. The AMP version of it, both of them were broken. So I haven't looked at it since. It seems to have died down. The initial buzz came out about it, and then it's kind of died. As far as I know, I haven't looked. I had a family emergency last week. I think Dennis, me and you, just that blab last week just wasn't meant to happen. You had an emergency. I had an emergency. That was just a new moon nuttiness, I guess. And I haven't read much about it, though, to answer your question.
Minus one of these last week.
Yeah.
I need to earn more to replace it.
If this helps answer it, I'm not in a hurry. For one thing, my plate is full, but I want there's no way I'm going to put my main site, throw in a plugin that could do all kinds of havoc with it. Right now, I don't want to beta test that. I don't want to become an involuntary bug tester today. And there is no real rush unless you're up in the upper echelon of sites like the New Yorker or something. It's wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah. So we've
just know it's coming for advertising. That's the main thing I want you to know is it's going to pop your ads. Good. You're going to have to put that in your content.
And I'm sure you'll have like information. So if you follow blog8.net and you sign up for her email list, you'll find out about it when it happens. Sylvia has a question. She says that we mentioned affiliate marketing. She makes a little bit of money, but nothing like Pat Flynn.
Yeah, none of us do.
I signed up. I signed up for Amazon affiliates, but no results yet. What's working for y'all? So for me, it's promoting Udemy courses has worked really well for me. And I'm an instructor on Udemy, and I just kind of built everything that I'm doing around Udemy. I'm working on a book with Udemy. I do the blabs with Matt, and I'm starting to do these blabs. Oh, I mentioned before you came on, and you're more than welcome to be a guest, my new talk show late at night is going to be called Late Night with You, Me, and Udemy.
I saw that. I think that's cool.
Yeah, and I'm excited about that because it'll be talking about the topics that your courses are about so that we can educate people, and hopefully they'll get interested and say, hey, that Blab Like a Pro course sounds like something that I need to take so that I can grow my business by doing blabs. And so I'm excited about that.
In a whole other way. I mean, blabs have been amazing for my business. Crazy amazing.
Yeah, I'm going to take your course then.
I met so many people, even people I knew. It's really strengthened a lot of relationships with people that I knew. But here's the big thing that really got me about this: people that have we have kind of liked each other's posts, traded each other, shared each other's posts or whatever. And maybe kind of chatted a little bit in comments to those posts, but never really had a conversation. They've never asked me onto their HOA show. They've never asked me to guest post. They've never had anything to do with me or voluntarily share my stuff. We get on a blab together, and everybody wants a piece of Mayanna. It's the most amazing thing to. And of course, I love it, and I want a piece of them too. I mean, some of these other folks. That it's like, oh man, come talk to my peeps, would you? Because blab is just the most wonderful thing, and then my peeps can engage directly with them. So it's really deepened relationships with people that I've known for quite some time. Pardon me, like I said, my voice is going. I'm not going to be good for much longer here.
That's okay.
But because I'm not big into the marathon blabs. I'm really not. I got over that.
Yeah, we can we can definitely wrap it up.
Yeah, we're an hour and a half into it. I'm not going to go much longer, but. Because you could go all night. I'm a blab addict as it is, but 3 or 4 of them a day is.
I know.
Yeah, I'm just about done. But what I was saying is all the relationships have deepened, but I have gotten more word out about things than all the blog posts in the world could have done for me. And been able to
Mm-hmm.
meet so many people that I have never met. As much as I try to get around on social media and follow everybody, I've met all kinds of people on topics that I talk about and whatever, or that I know about, or that I want to learn about. And huge people. I mean, huge people. And get to talk to them like they're the guy next door kind of a thing. I love Blab. Love it. Love it.
Yeah, you're on the East Coast, and I'm in the Mountain Time
Central.
Zone, and we've already
Central.
asked. Oh, Central? Yeah. Well, so much for knowing time zones for me. No. So, but we have people like I've seen people on in Romania when it's late at night and different parts of the world. And that's like that whole late night thing. I was like, gosh, is that going to be too late? And I thought, no, it's not, because there's people coming and going all over the place on the internet. And you're so right. Like, I mean, I came across your blog like several years ago, but you know, there's so many blogs out there that I follow and all of that. And then I saw you on Udemy, and I was like, wow, that, you know, I'm surprised that she's just starting Udemy, but you've got so many other things that you have your hands in. And then now Blab's come along, and it's such a cool tool to use to connect with people. And I'm using it to connect with, one of the reasons why I did this was I was hoping that some of the people who have taken my course, or maybe might be thinking about taking a course on WordPress, would kind of know, like I could share the information live and bring someone like you on, who I consider an expert in blogging and WordPress, and you've given some great information. I mean, with hosting, I'm so glad that you told me that stuff, because now I've got to go back and kind of look at that with my own sites, because I'm making some decent income on those sites now. We had Sylvia was asking about the affiliate marketing, stuff like that. And I used to do Amazon, and I get things from Amazon every month saying you didn't make enough to like the criteria. So now I'm getting these checks from Linkshare and from Udemy, and I've taken road trips, and I've bought a MacBook and that microphone that I pulled out, and you know, things are going places. And so I need to protect my investment. And the same with you. If you're watching and you've got a WordPress website, listen to the advice that she gave tonight. And I just posted a link to some resources. Well, that resource, the links there have a link to the replay. So if you're just joining us, you can start from the very beginning and start listening to her giving advice on hosting.
And that was a fire hose of information too. I mean, you know, I was ready with it, man. I've got that. I've definitely got that. But as far as marketing, you know, for affiliate marketing, I'll tell you a little story. There's a lady who lives in if I named her name, you might even know her if you're into affiliate marketing. She lives not very far from me. She makes $250,000 a year that I know of. Now, she's got a lot of different sites. Some of them are under pseudonyms and different things. But here's just a good example. Of course, she knows what she's doing. She goes out and gets a free theme from, you know, WordPress.org, you know, just one of the regular free themes. She doesn't do a lot as far as maintenance and, you know, all that kind of, she doesn't pay anybody to do it. She's been hacked multiple times, but if she loses one of those little sites, who cares? She just starts another one. It's not that big of it. I'm not kidding. That's really how she runs it. Somehow she finds that cheaper than paying somebody to caretake 20 sites for her. And it's not hard for her to build up. So here's just one story. So she does food. You know, food's a big niche, and she loves to travel. So she got on this low carb thing that she wanted to do. Well, that's not always easy to do when you're traveling, is to stay on a low carb diet. So she combined both of those things. So two huge niches she put together, and she started blogging about eating low carb while she was traveling. And so she knew exactly what she was doing now, and she blogged every day. Every single day she had a blog post out for 6 months. She was hopping all in these groups all over social media saying, hi, I'm new. What do y'all like? Seeing what the questions constantly are, just watching a lot and engaging where she could. But after she had some blog posts up, she'd say, oh, yeah, I've got an answer for that, and start sending people back to her site. She didn't come in marketing to them. She came in politely and did the social media thing, you know, with people, got to know them and was helpful, and they got to know her, blah, blah, blah. Did this for 6 months. She kept watching her traffic, and when it got to a certain level, Then she very specifically went out and blogged about a product, a little low carb energy bar that she loves very much. Oh, I love this thing. I keep it in my purse, always have one with me, blah, blah, blah. She knew exactly what she was doing. And she sent so much traffic to the manufacturer's site, they noticed. And they came back and they said, can we place an ad on your site? Well, of course, here are my stats. She had the stats to show them. And so, what, $250 a month? Because she's got their audience and it's a personal endorsement and people like her, right? $250 is nothing compared to having that kind of golden endorsement, word of mouth. So
that's crazy.
Through that traffic up, she got to another level. She went back to them. She said, now it's $500 a month. And she would get 4 or 5 sponsors like that. And over 20 sites, she's making $250,000. Now, that's not all she does.
That's crazy.
But it's not all hanging on one site with one product or, a little limited amount of products. I've got another client, Gigi Dubois. She's got a quirky name. Gigi Eats Celebrities. And she's fun. She's crazy fun. Did an interview with her. And you might want to listen to that interview to get it. But what she does is she has a lot of food intolerances and allergies and things. So she has to be very strict with her diet. And that's what got her into all of this with the blogging. Plus she has a master's degree and a bachelor's degree. One of them is in food nutrition and the other one is in broadcast journalism. So she may be blonde and she may talk blonde and she may be quirky. Honey, she flies a fox. So she's more like a fox, right?
Yeah.
And so she will do products. People will send her products that she wants to try for trying recipes and whatever. She films it. She films it live. It is not rehearsed. You get her reaction. She's not hateful to anybody, but, it's like, ew, or whatever. She's not like that, but she's like, hey, ain't for me. This is not to my taste. Y'all can try it, but, this ain't for me. And she gives her honest opinion, but that's what they want is her audience. It still gets the name out there, that kind of thing. And she is making some serious money. It's all paid endorsement. It's not paid endorsement. It's paid for her time, not just product stuff. So don't go for that product thing. Don't let them say, well, we'll just go to somebody else if you won't just take the free product. You need to be paid for all the audience that you built. But her main thing is she gets on social media and she comments on a lot of other people's stuff. She shares other people's stuff. She's very social. She's very big on you have to give to get. She's very authentic. It's not all about the product. And people genuinely want to know what she has to say and they trust her.
Hey, that's a blab idea for you if you have a little time in your schedule, is interviewing those people like that who are bloggers and their success stories like that, because I think that would be very inspirational to others out there who are thinking about the same thing.
I've got a whole series on them on the podcast, Dennis. I'll have to put it out there as a free course, shouldn't I?
But we like seeing you.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm trying to get them over to blabs. Not everybody is comfortable being on camera, and so a lot of them are podcast interviews. And there's no way I can do it on Udemy because you have to have so many videos. But blabs, I do. Thank you. I'll keep that in mind.
Well, I have a blab course that I just put out today because I'm like, hey, I have these blabs that are recorded. So I went and did the editing and said, Matt, are you okay with that? And he's now a co-instructor and did a little lecture on the benefits of blab for a Udemy instructor and made a course out of it, So, yeah, I think that would be really cool that your podcast, because John Culley does that with his podcast. He's got that out with his online, I forget, I've been on there, but I can't recall, online something. Oh, boy. Sorry, John, if you're listening. It's but yeah, hey, so before we go, I know that you want to get some rest and get some other things done. And I know you have a video on it because I watched it the other day. Why don't you tell people about that lower thirds that you have there at the bottom? And share that out. Just a little tip.
Pardon me. Here's the thing. Boy, my voice is not going to last much longer, is it?
That's fine. We'll get out of here.
Yeah, I think I've talked a solid 6 hours today. So besides all the other work I've done, I've talked a solid 6 hours too.
Yeah, I'm going to make some tea
that's what I'm going to do.
Done.
Okay, it's for it's using it with Minicam, and I've got the really easy version. I'll show you how to do that in my Blab Like a Pro course. I go much more in depth. The one that I made that's on YouTube that you're seeing in that link is just kind of the, hey, this is unscripted. I'm just jumping in here giving you something, kind of a thing. But in my Blab Like a Pro course, I go more into it. Now, here's the thing, guys. I have heard that the Macintosh for the Mac version of this, not the best thing in the world. Doesn't have as many features, doesn't work as well. I've heard from other people it works fine. I don't know if that's a Mac user thing, the difference in them, but I've heard more people say, So if you're on PC, it works very well. If you're on Mac, maybe not. There is a free version that you can try it. I've heard people say the free version worked pretty good. When they got the full version, not so much. I got it, not just for the lower third, but so that I could screen share. It does work, but the zoom factor on it, the screen's just too little for what I do. Site audits and those kinds of things, it's just too little. But I hear that Blab, that's one of the features that they've got on their list to bring us, and that will totally revolutionize my business. This Friday, I've got a free site review webinar, no pitch, no nothing, no hype, all help, and just reviewing sites. On one of them, we're going to do a quick SEO and performance check too, and then I'm going to open it up the audience and do as many regular ones as I can to help them with their conversion and all the different things, whatever they need. And just the minute that gets on Blab, it's coming over here. I'm not going to do it as a webinar because I don't sign people up to an email list, nothing. I mean, it's truly a zero hype, zero pitch. And I want it to stay that way. I never fail to get business doing it that way. And that's like you were saying at the front of the show. That reciprocity, give back, and it's the best way I know to let people know I do know what I'm talking about, or let people judge for themselves. I don't tell you I'm a guru or whatever. I let you judge if you think I know what I'm talking about, and some people don't think I do, and some people do, and there you go.
So that's a webinar that you're doing?
Yeah, Friday.
So how can people
find out about all my stuff for this week in Tips Tuesday? That's my weekly roundup. And let's see, here it is.
Well, you're so good with that because you have like the man a minute.
Yeah. Those are all in there too. The man a minute videos.
That's all marketing, right?
Yeah. Tips Tuesday is my podcast and post. It's my weekly roundup of everything you need to know about that's going on that I just curated because I read 80 blogs a week minimum to keep up with this industry.
Wow.
And so I can make it without Feedly, honey. Feedly and my peeps over on Google Plus, and then I belong to 20 groups on Facebook to keep up with everything that's going on because the news is everywhere. And now I'm looking on Twitter too a little more. This has revolutionized Twitter for me, and I wasn't looking at it as much because I find the same news in these other places too. But I have to keep up. Things are moving very fast, and I have to keep up. So Tips Tuesday, I curate that down to what I think my audience is really, truly interested in and tell them about stuff that's coming like AMP and those kinds of things. So I've got that, the webinars coming up Friday. And I teach in the middle of teaching a blog on purpose live class, group class now. It's a 6-week class. It's the next step up from the DIY SEO. That gets the foundation. This puts up the framework, and then there's a level above that raises the roof and puts you through the roof over it. So
I'll have to take a look at that.
Yeah,
I'll have to take a look at that because I need to be a better blogger than I am, more dedicated to like being consistent with blogging because that's important to marketing. Is that you have a consistent pattern of putting stuff out so that people are following you. Right. And if you're not, then they're going to go to the next person to look for information. And there's lots of people out there.
It goes beyond that. When you put out really high quality stuff, it comes down to promotion after that. Spend 20% of your time making the thing and 80% of your time promoting it. I fall way short in that promotion side of it. I need to do a lot better myself, but I get to the front page of Google a lot, and that does it for me because I write seriously high quality information. But it's not just that.
Yeah.
There's 11 to 14 levels of SEO on every single piece of content you have. And so it's doing that basic stuff and cooperating with it. So the Yoast SEO plugin is a great place to start, but it's not nearly enough. And that's why there's more in
Yeah.
that course than that. And then this live class is taking it up another notch to learn how to cooperate with all these things and all the little places that the SEO is. We did one, the one today was on image SEO and optimization, and Raven Tools
Mm-hmm.
just came out. They do, man,
Mm-hmm.
they produce some great studies. Raven Tools just came out with their latest study, and it said 78% of SEO issues are on images. And I thought, wow, how timely is that? I'm teaching a class on it today. And
Wow.
yeah, that's pretty cool. So
What
uh,
what do you use to broadcast those live
go to
classes?
webinar.
Go to
Yeah.
webinar. Okay.
Actually, I'm doing it on
Yeah.
GoToMeeting because I have to keep this small. Normally, I was just teaching these one-to-one classes because it has to
Mm-hmm.
be tailored to your stuff. You can't do this in a generic way. It has to be tailored to your
Yeah.
stuff. So I have a small group. I have to
Hmm.
keep them at 5 or less for that.
Mm-hmm.
So the next class
Yeah.
will be starting in January.
Yeah. Somebody asked really quick, ASP or PHP, what's your advice?
It depends on what you're doing. For your enterprise level things, if you need a custom design, that's too generic for me to answer. It really depends on what you're building.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, it depends on what you're building.
Good answer. Yeah.
PHP is
I
the
remember
language that
ASP.
WordPress is built on, and Joomla and Drupal and a lot of other CMSs. ASP is Microsoft centric. It's kind of out
Yeah.
there on its own, and it's actually ASPX now. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
but
True.
yeah, they actually have some pretty decent stuff. A service website. I'm sorry, I'd really have to get into it with you to answer that, and it's way too generic. And you really need to talk to a developer, a full scale developer, to answer that to see what. I don't mean to be putting you off, but I can't give you a meaningful answer. But a developer, if you tell them what it is you want to do and have them show you examples of that thing, and then go ask those people, hey, does this work? Did they just throw it at you and say, here it is, figure out how to use it? Lots of things to ask.
Yeah. So going back to the topic of tonight's discussion before we go, how about one last piece of advice or maybe some thoughts, and then we'll let you go so you
Thank
can
you.
rest that voice for
Yeah, thank you very
tomorrow.
much. The best piece of advice I can give you is get educated. When you know that you're serious about it, because yeah, you can jump in there and play around and just see what things are. But when you get ready to make money, any money, I don't care what it is, get yourself educated before you get too far down the road, because it costs you a lot more money later on to clean all that up. Ask all of my clients that have had site audits that need to clean up. They're like, wow, I wish I had known this. And I wouldn't have to clean all this stuff up. Or there's an interview coming out on Friday with one of those site audit clients, and how much money she spent to have people who didn't know what they were doing that she went on the cheap to get, and how much it costs coming out of that, plus all the business that she lost in. It's way cheaper to get educated. Honestly, it's way, way, way cheaper. And get out of that mentality of everything has to be free. There is no other business on the planet outside of online business where people have an expectation of being able to do it for free. It's an insane attitude that you can be in business having no clue what you're doing, and you
Mm-hmm.
can turn around and make money the next day. I think I see this in the Udemy things too, where people, I see it, I help people with membership sites. I've been doing that for a long
Mm-hmm.
time before I got on Udemy. And they do the same mistake. They get all caught up in the course. Um, and the course has nothing to do with it. It's all marketing.
Yeah.
Um, Same thing with sites. They get all caught up in their theme and they don't know what they're looking at but pretty. They haven't given a minute's thought to their content or their conversion points. With membership sites, they don't give a thought to getting members. They just think about that content. And so,
Yeah.
and attrition and churn and, all those things of how you lose. So I would say get educated about business. Dennis, I'm in the music. I was in the music business for a year. I'm a multi instrumentalist. I'm a composer. I've got music playing in 14 countries. I have a book that was featured in Publishers Weekly. I'm an internationally recognized wood carver. Now, before y'all get all what about that, You need to look at my royalty checks. There's a reason I have a job, a business that does not, art doesn't really pay that much, but it could. But here's the thing. I learned about the business of music, and I learned about the business of art, and I learned about the business of books, because it is a business. No publisher on the planet cares if you can write a book. They care if you can sell one. No music label cares if you can write a song. They care if you can sell one. And that's I've got another one here. It's why you need to start thinking like a publisher. And I tell you, if I have advice, this would be it, to get a marketing, why bloggers need to think like publishers. This will put you in a business mindset of what it takes to actually have a successful business. So
great. Thank you for that link. Good.
And then on my email opt-in for my newsletter, I've got a 48-page book. And, I probably need to talk to you about putting that up on Kindle. So y'all go get it free now, because I'm probably going to put it up on Kindle. It's a 48-page book of what every site owner should know.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. Cool. So that's on your, somebody just downloaded it.
Cool. So yeah, I probably have to talk to you about putting it up on Kindle. That I need to come up. My problem is I need to come up with something for the ethical bribe, for my free giveaway, and I haven't had time to produce that. So, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I had my book out 3 years ago, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like I need to write another book, and I've got so many ideas. My biggest struggle is procrastination, and I always joke about it. And I think, gosh, if I always joke about it, then I'm going to believe it. But it's like I just have to force myself to get things done, force myself to close Facebook and do other things and avoid the distractions and all of that. So, hey, I want you to go rest. So I want to thank you for joining me. It's been awesome. A lot of great information. I've got the replay right there. There's some great information in that document, including links on how you can follow me here on Blab and online. And if you want to know more about Udemy, Matt Bernstein and I talk about Udemy mostly every week. He's on vacation right now. I have back surgery next week, so I'm going to be out for a while, but we're going to get back into it. And in November, I'm going to start my new show, which is Late Night with You, Me, and Udemy. And I'm going to have some great Udemy instructors, including trying to talk this one to coming back on that new show with me.
Oh man, the people that you have on there for your Udemy, they so outpace me. It's crime. I'm a newbie to Udemy for sure.
Yeah, but you're doing other stuff besides Udemy that you're an expert in, and so people want to hear that. So you've got your Blab course out, which I think would be probably a good topic to talk about. So hopefully I can have you back again, and then you'll have your voice rested, and I'll be better, and I can walk and sit for long periods of time. Hey, everybody, you can find me online at www.dennisjsmith.com. It's not as pretty as blogaid.net, but it's got a lot of my stuff on there, and hopefully one of these days I'll update that theme on there. So, Mariana, thanks again for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Dennis. And I want to pick your brain at some point about all this affiliate stuff for Udemy too. I really want to know more about that too. So your expertise,
absolutely,
man, you know about it.
When we have some free time, we'll chat.
Sounds good.
Okay, thanks everyone for joining us tonight. And if you have any questions for either of us, you can contact Mariana on her website or myself at my website. And thanks again. Have a great evening and have a great rest of your week. Thank you. Bye-bye now, everyone.